I mean, up until this beginning of this fall, I both studied and worked part-time. Like when I told Henrik Ingebrigtsen that, he said like, yo, so you're finally getting serious.
50 to go. Almgren giving it everything. The stride shortening. The clock ticking away. I think he's going to do it. 43, 44, through the line. It's a new European record.
This week on the Coffee Club podcast, we are joined by Sweden's very own Andreas Almgren.
I don't think that threshold is good for a 5K runner.
The 12th quickest time in history there from Andreas Almgren, and he had to take on that last mile himself.
He knows a thing or two about running.
I've heard you say before that it's slightly different to what Jakob does. Is that your kind of spin on it?
His last mile will have worked out at about 4:01.
But before we dig in, we have a surprise guest drop a bombshell in the studio.
I was entered in all three, the 15, the 5, and the 10. I'm scratching the 10K.
Wow.
I'm going to scratch the...
Find out more on the Coffee Club podcast.
Okay.
Like and subscribe. Coffee Club, Coffee Club. Grind your beans and grab your favorite mug. It's Ollie, Morgan, George, and Gus. It's them boys from Coffee Club. Boys from Coffee Club.
Am I not in the shot then? The mysterious guy?
I think.
I'm like lurking in the corner over here. No one knows what happened to me. Is that too niche?
That's not niche at all, actually.
Really? Okay.
It's very
relevant? Yeah.
Shall we? Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Cup podcast for episode 195. Unfortunately, Ollie is not here today. He is getting ready to head over to Europe tomorrow to race in the London Diamond League, which is very exciting. But we do, instead, George and I, that is, we have a couple of very exciting guests. And first off, we're going to start with a little surprise one, Mr. Drew Hunter. Round of applause for Drew coming off. Dude, I mean, we've been adjacent, you know, both living in Boulder for a long time, both had breakouts actually at similar times in many ways. You know, your first sub-4 race was also my first sub-4 race.
Oh.
That's
some nice lore right there.
Yeah, we're the same era, you know, and we feel like old guys at this point. And you just fucking went off, and I mean, you've been moving up to essentially the 10K, and then you just dropped down and ran a 3:33 1500 meter PB on the weekend, getting the dub in a very competitive race. What's the vibe right now after something like that?
Yeah, funny little story about the sub-4 thing. I have a note in my house in Longmont from Morgan when I broke 4. My dad's friend reached out. I don't even know if you remember this.
I remember this.
Yeah. So there's a nice little like shrine of Morgan in there. He has a little photo and he has a nice little note. Congratulations on breaking 4. So my dad's friend made a nice little thing for me, like a photo and everything. So yeah.
What race is this?
It wasn't, so I don't know if it's still called this. I guess is the Armory Invite, which is now Dr. Sanders, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So 2 weeks before Melrose, and yeah, it was fun.
Were you in high school?
Yes.
2016.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a long time ago.
Then that was the high school, or I guess you ran even quicker at Melrose?
Yeah. So I ran 3:58 there with you, and then 2 weeks later, I think it was 2 weeks later, I ran 3:57 at Melrose.
And that was it the high school indoor record?
Yes. Yep.
You know what my memory about this, which is, it's funny how like what you remember as the years go by. I remember you were sick around this time, and there was an interview with you about it, and one of the things you said is that you just drank a ton of green tea going into it.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would do in high school, looking for any edge. Yeah, no, I traveled like 3 weeks in a row, and I was like, I feel really, really crappy right now. So, but you're also in high school, so you're kind of invincible.
Nothing really matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was the bicarb in 2016.
Exactly.
Green tea.
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
9 years later, running 3:33. What was your PR? 3:35?
3:33.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So a small one.
Yeah, it was a small one. I just am trying to get into the mentality of trying to win races. Like everyone was like, "Oh, the world standard was right there," and I was like, I didn't even care. Like it's just, I feel like for me, where I'm at in my own running career and what I need to do is I just need to get back to the mentality of like winning a race. It's so easy to be like second or third place, but it's so much harder to. And like have a good race, like have a solid race. Like everyone's like, oh, you ran 3:33 or, you did well, but it's like so much better to be the first guy across the finish line. So I'm really trying to work on that.
But it's funny you say that because don't you have a kind of a streak right now where you've set like, is it 3 PBs in the last 4 races or something like that?
I've won Portland Track Fest 5K and then I won this last race.
So you're just
I didn't set a
races.
PB, yeah, but I ran like 13:14, which is still a pretty good result for me. So yeah, like I think like I'm not running in the Diamond Leagues or anything. So I feel like these are great races where the competition's awesome. But they're races that I can go into not thinking about time and just thinking like, okay, get to the front with 150 meters to go and try to win. Like that's your job. And so that's what I did this weekend. Like I was pretty far back, but I felt really, really good.
Dude, watching the race, you were very far back and you moved up very nicely.
Yeah. No, like I called
your clothes must have been crazy.
Yeah, I think I ran 54.
54, I think.
Yeah, which I'm really happy with. Like, I mean, I've been doing, like, I just did, like, Boulder not too long ago. Like, it hasn't been something I've been, necessarily working on, but I just feel like all the 10K and 5K, 10K training, I just wasn't tired at the end of the race, which is, I have decent leg speed. So it's like, yeah, you can work with that.
Yeah, and looking ahead, obviously USA's is not that far away. What's kind of the plan for that?
Yeah, your teammate Dylan asked me this morning what I'm doing. So I'm entered. I was entered in all 3, the 15, the 5, and the 10. I'm scratching the 10K.
Wow.
I'm going to scratch the 15.
I thought you were all in on the 10K.
I'm going to scratch the 15. No, and I'm going to do the 5 and really make a run too. So I've done some math with rankings and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, the US team is so hard to make, but it's the second race. So like, the top guys, Grant, Nico, Woody, Graham.
I've just run the
10. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. And then I was sort of just debating because I closed really well in the 15, but the 1500, like the 20th best guy in the US is like a 3:33 guy. So it's just like, it's like, I think like for me mentally, I'm like, if I can just go all in on one race, the 5, and I just feel like I'm really working well right now at, like I've done so much long training. Like I ran a 10 miler this year. I did the 10K early on, and now my 1500 speed's there. So I'm like, I feel like the 5 should be my best shot.
You're hitting both sides.
Yeah.
And you just described how to make a team. Yeah. Try to get to the front, 150 to go.
Exactly.
And close out. Like you just described and you just put it into action.
Yeah.
On the weekend. So
we'll see. I'm probably there's like maybe a 20% chance I run the 1500 first round and see how it goes. I really
want to warm up.
It's funny to think it's like, oh yeah, I just ran well, closing well. Like I do think I can run faster. Like I feel like I could run 3:31 high, 3:32. I'm still 4 seconds slower than Cole and Yard. So it's like, okay, maybe we just hope that the 10K boys will be a little bit tired and we can have a good burn up over the last 3 laps. Like that's what would play into my strength. So
totally. I mean, it's undeniable right now that the US has the deepest 5K group that it's ever had. But at the same time, and you've showed this multiple times in your own career, at the end of the day, when you get to USA's, it's all about like who's actually ready to go on that day. And so much can happen. And it's so much about momentum, which you really have going for you right now. And I mean, you've also got a ton of experience. So you've been third in the 5K before, right?
Yeah. So I've made a 5K team and then didn't get to run Worlds because I got an injury. So it would be some nice redemption. And I also just think like the 5K on paper, I haven't really nailed a fast one yet, but the 5K on paper should be my better event. I think. Like, I feel like I still have good leg speed. Like, I can run a good 15, but I've now done enough endurance work where I think that I'm strong too. I just have struggled in like those 1250 races. Like, those are just not my types of races. So, but I think that a USA championship, like we were just saying, like where it's more.
Those are two very different races.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like I almost always do a lot better in sort of like those championship races than just a time trial.
The chance of it being in the 1240s seems very low.
You never know.
It's not it's not zero,
Yeah.
but it seems very low.
It's like, I think the TV windows, it's at like 157 in Eugene. So it's going to be like 900 degrees and like a bunch of guys are coming off the 10. I hope we run like 14 minutes. So, but you know, I'll be ready for anything. So yeah, I'm just excited that I feel like I'm in a good enough spot where I feel like I can be competitive. So that's nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the little celeb cameo today. It's been awesome to have you on. We'll take a little short pause here and then we'll be back in just a moment.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
And we're back after the little break and we're very excited to have our number one fan. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of those.
It's in the notes. Tom put in the notes that you're our fastest fan, potentially, in the whole world. We could say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you count like 5K, I'm probably maybe the fastest.
We definitely count
that's
5K.
That's what I mean by number one fan. Number one running fan.
I mean, I guess there are 11 other guys who can be faster, but apart from those, it should be me.
We're gonna have to individually ask if any of them listen to the podcast. I don't think they do, but if you can't tell from the beautiful Scandinavian accent, we have Mr. Andreas Almgren on today. He's zooming in from St. Moritz. We were just talking before that it's kind of weird that no one from our team is going to be in St. Moritz this year, but nonetheless, it's good to get a little connection there. But Andreas, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to have a chat. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Been following you for like 2 years or something now. So
it's not bad. Early fan.
Yeah, so I've been just waiting for the invite. Took some time.
I don't know why we waited so long. We were just waiting for you to become the European record holder in the 5K.
You had to prove yourself.
That's when we knew that you were legit. So
the European record for the 10K road, it wasn't good enough.
No.
We had to get the 5K.
That was a weak one.
Wait, who has the 10K on the track?
Mo Farah.
Oh yeah, it'd be like 2640s.
Yeah, 46 or 45.
So you could probably
something.
jog that.
Yeah, that sounds piece of cake right now for you.
Yeah, jog is maybe a little bit of an exaggeration.
We'll
maybe
find out. We'll find out at Worlds, I guess. But so before we get into it, Andreas and I actually do have a history that I had to bring up. We're longtime besties, not besties actually. That is a joke, but we do have a good history. Maybe I'll put the picture up on the screen. We actually have a selfie together back from 2014 when we were both juniors at the World Juniors in Oregon. He did a little better than I. He got a medal in the 800 meters, which is just crazy to think about. I was racing the 5K there, and we did recreate that picture in Zagreb in 2023. So it's been a freaking long road, I guess. That is just to tell you. And I mean, we'll get into Andreas' story, but I think a lot of people would see you, especially from a more American viewpoint. They see you breaking out right now, and they might be a bit thinking, "Who is this guy?" Like, I haven't seen him in a finals at the Olympics last year. I haven't seen, like, maybe they've seen you break 13 before, but 12:44 is, and what you did on the road as well last year. Like, it's mind-boggling. You know, that's a whole next level. But going from 800 meter World Junior medalist in 2014 to what you are today, that's a freaking long road.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like, when I see the times I do right now, it doesn't feel like me. I kind of like feel it's someone else who runs those times. Still kind of feel like an 800 meter guy. But yeah.
Do you wish you were still an 800 runner?
We kind of jokingly said that the less talent you have, the longer you have to run. So yeah, it would be nice to be an 800 meter runner. I mean, when I do like tough track workouts with 800s and I do the first rep and I feel like, oh, this is the race for someone. for some people. It's like, oh, that would be nice.
Done.
That would be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all distance events are painful, so I just do the one that I'm the best at.
I think you must have some talent to run 12:44.
Your physiology, I don't like, not that I'm a sports scientist, but I can't imagine like the physiology of someone that can run 144 you ran 144, right? As a 19-year-old?
145.
145.
Yeah, 145.
18-year-old, and then now 12:44. Like, I can't even imagine. You must be
let's
crazy.
say I can't run 145 now. So it's a little bit different now. But I think I am the only one in history who has broken 146 and 27 minutes for the 10K.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, well, not many people even run the 800. That's the thing. That and then you could take that even up to your half marathon time as well.
Yeah, I think most of the best 5K, 10K guys haven't really done a fast 800, so they probably could have run sub 146. I mean, I think Mo Farah would have done 145 or something like that, but they don't have it on paper.
No, it is a very impressive stat, and it does make you very intimidating as we look forward to the World Championships, which, I mean, running 12:44 is enough to make you intimidating. We are coming off, you did just race in Monaco, which we were very excited to watch, but unfortunately you pulled out a few K in with a hamstring cramp, so we just wanted to check on that. You posted on your Instagram a bit about it, but everything's all good?
Yeah, everything is fine now. We treated it like a small rupture when it happened, just to be safe. But I felt pretty good like the day after, and I went up here to St. Moritz and had an MRI, and everything looked good. And I feel fine now. I actually did a threshold today, so I'm just avoiding sprints for a few days, and then I'm just back into normal.
Did you?
I mean,
did you do something
like
to it?
PTSD from last year with Paris Olympics missing out, that I don't want to take any risks this year.
Smart. Did you do something to your hamstring before the race, or was it just during?
No, it came up after like 2.9K or something like that, and I didn't feel anything before that. So can't really be sure exactly what caused it, but I don't think that the drive from St. Moritz to Monaco helped.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should avoid that in the future.
It's funny you say that, because Yared and Ollie did that drive last year, and they said never again. It seems like it's much worse than it sounds. Like, you put in Google Maps and it's like, I don't know, 4 to 5 hours something, but then traffic and tolls, and it ends up
cramped up little car.
It ends up being terrible, apparently.
Yeah, so, I just talked with Andreas Kramer, and he Swedish 800 meter guy, and he broke his national record in the 800 running 143 low there last year, and he rode there together with Jakob, who ran 326. So I thought, like, oh, okay, it might work, but doesn't seem to work for everyone.
No, you don't want to take those risks, and it seems really smart that you did that, especially, as you know, you've already achieved. I know you wanted to practice a more just pure competitive race, like racing for the win against the other best runners in the world, obviously up against Yomif there. But the big one is coming, and you've already done enough on paper that it's like, you don't have to achieve anything else. You just have to turn up to the World Champs ready to go. I do know you're doing a couple more races before it, right? Or at least one. You're going into Sweden?
First I have our nationals, but that shouldn't be too hard, running a 10K there. Then I have a 3K in Stockholm, Sollentuna, where I'm from. I tried to run quite fast. Hopefully do a little bit of like a championship simulation. Hope to a quick last K. But right now it's more like of a championship focus. Going back into more of a base training now for a couple of weeks. yeah, back on the threshold train.
I love it. We're definitely going to get into that. We're talking about your setup. So we see a lot of videos of you, and often you're running on your own or with one other person or with a bike there. What is your actual like setup in terms of like squad coaching? Is it a lot of it's kind of solo for you?
Yeah, most of it is solo. At least when I'm back in Sweden, I have my coach, who's the guy who's usually pacing me. If you look at my Instagram, but then we are a few Swedes who usually go on training camps together. I don't know exactly how many, but we're maybe like 6 or 7 persons here right now in Simmerits. I obviously also been in Sierra Nevada for a few weeks this year, and then I trained a bit with the Norwegians as well.
The Norwegians.
But as far as my like normal setup is, it's just basically me.
Mm-hmm. And you're a big subscriber to the just pure European double threshold. I mean, it's funny because it's such a well-known system now. So like we probably know like exactly what your kind of like base training looks like. I guess I'm sure we don't know all the specifics, but I imagine you're spending a lot of the year doing like the classic like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday sessions, and like maybe a long run on Sundays. Is that kind of what it looks like? And I also do want to ask a question about if you think it works all the way up for the half marathon, or if you did change kind of like that more normal training week specifically for the half.
Yeah, that's basically my setup. Tuesday, Thursday threshold, hills on Saturday, easy threshold in the evening, long run Sunday. So that's a normal base week. When I did my half marathon, I think I did like, instead of doing the hills, I did 2 specific workouts for the half marathon. But the rest of the week looked exactly the same. So I think that like the double threshold it's like quite a good base from everything from 1500 up to half marathon. But then you have to do like the specific work to fine tune it for the specific event. But it definitely works for a half marathon.
I've heard you say before that it's slightly different to what Jakob does. Is that your kind of spin on it? Is that your coach's spin on it? Like, or do you think there is slightly differences?
First of all, I've never actually like trained with Jakob in a pure like racing period, so I don't really know exactly what he does during racing season. I did a little bit of like race prep workouts with him in January, but I would say that, I mean, he's more. I've seen you talk about it, so you've seen maybe like that race prep workout I did before Stockholm. I don't think he would do that kind of workout. I think it's just that he does a rust buster instead and just gradually builds from that. So I don't really think he does that really intense, hard, high lactic workouts. But I only do that when I want to get race ready. But then, like, obviously, the main big difference is that he focuses on the 1500 and I focus on the 10K and 5K. So the specific workouts are a little bit different. But I said the overall philosophy is kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Could ask a lot of questions here. So you're going back into a base training phase, but I know that you, leading up to this race specifically, you were in what you could call like a really specific phase where it was funny because like we follow you on Instagram and we're just like between Sintra and I, at least, we're like, he's in Kiavena again, because you seem like you're in Kiavena doing your specific workouts every 2 days, and I imagine that is essentially what your training program was. Was it really tough to go to like a more very specific race prep phase compared to your threshold phase, or did you really enjoy being able to like crush so much specific work?
I kind of enjoyed it. So it's like the workouts that I did down in Kiavena, they weren't really extremely tough. They were like controlled high intensity, so a lot of like race pace stuff, but with such a control that I could do it over and over every 2 days. And I kind of enjoyed it for a couple of weeks, but it tears a bit on the body, of course. So I think it's kind of nice now to get back into that normal, a little bit more low intensity stuff. I think it's quite good to have that periodization, and so you get your body to get different kind of stimulus. But it was fun, of course, but it's also a little bit tougher to do those a little bit higher lactic stuff every other day.
So the philosophy between Stockholm 12:44 and Monaco, which was 4 weeks maybe. So is that just like running as much 5K pace? Was that 60, 61 second, 400? Like as many as you can in that 4 week span? Like is that how you build the program? Like how much race pace can I do in 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Like how easy can I make it feel?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be as efficient as possible running 61s, because in my mind I thought that if I could have the right pacing and didn't have to pull too much of the race, I would be able to get down to like low 1240s or maybe break 1240 in Monaco. So I just wanted to be as efficient as possible in those paces.
So how easy was 61s feeling?
They were quite good in the end. So like I could do like 800s with quite short rest in like 202, bicarbed up with still quite low lactate. So I felt ready for Monaco.
Fair enough.
Well, that sounds good.
That's what it takes. Talking about bicarb, it's funny, like you being from Sweden and how many Swedish companies there are that are currently involved in the specific like high performance space, specifically for our events. You just mentioned Morton, which is bicarb, and then we had actually a lot of questions in our Instagram about Nomeo as well, which I know that you're associated with. Probably, I guess, I don't know if they sponsor you, but you made some really cool YouTube videos with them earlier in the season. Are you doing it all? And does all that stuff work? I think a lot of people in particular don't really know much about Nomeo, so because that's more of a new thing.
I do both of them. I don't think that you have to do like either one. I think like doing both, it could be quite beneficial. But I mostly feel that like the Nomeo, when you do intense training, I feel that I recover quite well using that. I think that I could run a little bit faster, maybe on like threshold workouts or threshold plus workouts, but still feel quite well recovered the day after. So I think like the main benefit from that is using it over time. I think bicarb has more of an instant acute effect for race day or for tough specific workouts. So yeah, I use both regularly, and I started doing it like Nomeo. I started doing in the end of 24, and I've had quite a good year since.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, good.
Right.
Good
Morg was just telling me before we started recording that he went to the grocery store and bought broccoli sprouts and blended them up.
I was making my own Nomeo.
Blended them up into homemade Nomeo. Is that the same thing? And would you recommend that he does it or anyone else does that?
I think it's better to use the Nomeo high concentrate.
They're more expensive though.
Will you put him in? Yeah. Will you put him in contact with them for his sake and for all our sakes?
So you want to know a really funny story? Yeah. Is someone I think from Nomeo reached out to me on Instagram one time in my DMs, and I thought they were offering to send us some product, and he was actually just like telling me to buy it. I was like, yeah, I'd love to try out some out, and he's like, oh, cool. If you order, I can get you free shipping.
Oh,
I'll link you up. I'll fix that.
That
But
might be
I
better.
just now FYI, like if you take one shot of Nomi, I think that's like the equivalent of eating 3 kilos of broccoli. So there's quite a lot of that in it.
3 kilos.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got to buy more broccoli then, I guess.
So you just weren't doing enough.
I guess not. I felt like I was doing something. I was telling George I felt really sick. Like I would blend up broccoli sprouts which are pretty cheap, so it was good value. And then I would in water with a little bit of lemon, and I would drink it, and it made my stomach feel terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had any stomach problems with Nomio, so I recommend that.
Fair enough. And just to jump back a bit, because I don't mean to glaze over you mentioning how you could run 202 800s, short recovery, low lactate. It's amazing, but obviously to get to this stage, there was so much building, and I'm wondering if this is really like what you attribute as the main like story of your success now. Are you able to do this training now because of the crazy massive base that you've put in both this year, but it's been building over multiple years? Is that why you're able to then go and do these fast 800s?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I don't think that threshold by itself is good for a 5K runner or a 59-minute runner. I mean, if I do a 5K race and I run in my race pace, after 2Ks, I would probably have above 10 in lactate. So I break my threshold like instantly. So the main philosophy with threshold training is that you should build such a good base that when it's time for this race season, you can do a lot of the specific workouts that you couldn't recover from if you don't have the base. So like now, like the 3 weeks leading up to Stockholm until now, I haven't done a lot of threshold work.
And no long runs, right?
No long runs, no. I think I have my first one on Sunday, and it's going to be like the first one since middle of May or something. So, I mean, you don't have to do threshold to reach that stage. There are a lot of ways to build like that aerobic foundation, but the main thing is that it's just doing the threshold. It's quite controlled, and you can do a lot of mileage. So when it comes to race period, you can do a lot of the specific work. That's basically the philosophy behind it.
I have to ask you, make the connection. Have you read Niels van der Poel, his manifesto?
Yeah.
Is that kind of like it seems very similar?
Yeah, I mean, the base philosophy is basically the same, but he does it in a more extreme way.
Yeah, he's crazy.
But obviously since he's Swedish, so around 2022 when he released that manifesto, it was such a buzz around him in Sweden.
Who's this guy?
One of the most famous persons in Sweden for a couple of months.
Oh, is he that guy that before was it 2 Olympics ago or 1 Olympics ago?
Yeah, Beijing. I think it was Beijing 2022. He set the world record in the 5 and the 10.
And his training hours were like ungodly.
He would do a lot of crazy amounts of. He just built the biggest aerobic base ever, pretty much.
Wait, was he biking? Was that guy biking too?
Biking.
Yeah,
he's biking.
Yeah. So he had 5 days of training and then 2 off days, and in those 5 days of training, he put in like between 30 or 35 hours of pure aerobic work. So basically like 7 hours of cycling per day. And they did that for a couple of months, and then he did a threshold period where he did like
ungodly amounts.
I think
of
about
threshold.
10 hours of threshold.
5 days in a row of threshold. Actually, infinite threshold.
Yeah, exactly. So then when it came to the race specific work, he did then 5 days straight of just pure race specific for the ice skating. So his philosophy was that the guy who could do most laps in 30 seconds, the 4 months or 3 months leading up to the important race, he would win it.
Huh.
So it was quite interesting to read.
Yeah.
So, Andreas, do you take a rest day in a week?
Not normally, no. I've had 3 so far this year, I think.
So not too many.
Yeah, so one of them was after Stockholm and one of them was after Monaco. So apart from those, one rest day when I felt a bit tired after coming home from a training camp. But apart from that, I usually do, in a normal training week, I have two runs per day, basically.
So because you are someone who has had a bit of an injury history, but then right now, or at least during your more aerobic phase, you're pushing 200 Ks a week. Would you say the reason that you're able to sustain that is because of, I guess, the control that you have with the intensity?
Yeah, I think the control part is very important for me. If you look to my history, most of my injuries have come when I do race specific or high intensity stuff. I've never really had a big injury during base training. So obviously I can handle a lot of mileage with the controlled intensity. But then when we come to the more race specific stuff, I need to be a lot more careful. So it's good for me to constantly use those lactate meters to get a number of how high the intensity is.
Yeah,
when I do those really tough workouts, I really need to be careful the coming days to make sure that I recover well from them.
Okay, so even when you're doing, it's like an interesting juxtaposition that you've been able to train your body to the point where you can do race specific work, but then that's not even considered as a tough session because you're doing more race specific work 2 days later.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, right now when I was down in Kievenna, I was usually around like between 10 and 12 in lactates. And for some people that might be quite high. But when I did that 3,000 plus 1,500, I was above 22.
Oh, wow.
So I
Good
can
numbers.
push very high lactate numbers.
Okay, so relatively
from those 800 routes.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Yeah. So
how many lactate strips do you go through a week?
I usually do 2 tests per workouts. So yeah, around 10 to 12.
Are you so dialed now that you can essentially know what your numbers are going to be?
Yeah, I'm quite good at estimating them. And sometimes, depending on different reasons, you can be a bit off. But I think that if I don't like continuously do them, I will kind of like drift away over time. So I think it's important to just keep doing them.
Mm-hmm.
But a few years ago, I could do like 4 tests per workout to make sure that I was at the right intensity. But now I usually do 1 halfway through and then 1 after to make sure I stayed at the right intensity.
Yeah, one thing that was really interesting, going back to Niels van der Poel as the example, I think he had some policy that if his power dropped on threshold days, if his power dropped more than 3%, he would just stop and he would take 2 rest days. Have you encountered anything like that where you are pushing the limits of like fatigue and you have to pull a workout because maybe your lactate is going like above what you would consider your LT2 or something like that?
Yeah, for me, it's like if I feel quite sluggish and my pulse is low, but the lactate's still quite high, then it's usually a sign for me that I need to take a break. So if I do a threshold workout, when I get those signals, I usually just stop it and take a rest day.
So the preference... Sorry.
Yeah, but then I also think that like the feeling is probably the best tool for me. So I was about to do a very tough specific workout before Stockholm. And during that one, I felt that I wasn't well recovered. So in the middle of that workout, we just changed it to a more controlled one because I felt like I felt the wrong kind of tiredness.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, yeah, all the elite runners know what I'm talking about, but I felt like I couldn't really push it, and I felt sluggish, and I had to work for every step instead of feeling that like central tiredness that you kind of want. So if I get that sensation when I want to do a really tough one, it's also a sign that I have to reconsider.
So the opposite of that, on a normal day, you'd want your heart rate to be high, but your lactate to be low. Like that would give you the information that you're kind of well recovered.
Yeah, that's usually how it is for me when I start like tapering for a race. So the lactate stays low, so I'm like can use the energy efficiently, but my pulse is quite high, so I have like normal central stimulus in the body, so everything works fine. So that's usually a good sign for me.
Well, it's very smart training. We did have a question, which we kind of talked about before we started recording as well. But one of the questions we had from the Instagram is specifically what paces you're running for LT1 and LT2 and what your lactate is at those levels. And I wasn't sure if you were going to answer or not, but is that information you can reveal?
Yeah, so the thing is I don't really do lab testing. So I think everyone has like a little bit of their own definition of what LT1 and LT2 is, and threshold levels and everything. So I just basically try to stay at a certain lactate number and have that for the different specific threshold workouts that I do. And I don't change much. It's like 6 minutes in the morning and then 400s or 1Ks in the afternoon. And then I try to stay around 3 in lactate in the afternoon, and then around 2-ish in the morning. But I don't have on paper, this is your LT1 pace or this is your LT2 pace. So I just adapt it for those different type of workout.
Mm-hmm. I think people are sometimes surprised, like, because obviously, it's not expected that like everyone out there is testing their lactate, but I think people are often surprised at actually how slow you have to run to keep your lactate at 2.0. Literally, for you, you've done it and trained it, so I imagine you're actually running pretty fast now, even at those low lactates. But was that a real process for you, where initially you had to like run pretty slow to keep it that controlled?
Yeah, so I started doing this double threshold in the fall of 2019, and I think if I did 6 minutes repeats there, I had like maybe 325, 330 per K. And I think at sea level now, I'm probably closer to 250. Yeah, it's improved quite a lot. So I did it up here this morning, and now I'm not in my best threshold shape, but I did it quite good on a treadmill with 20 kilometers per hour, so 3 flat pace. And it's up here on 1800 meters of altitude. And I did the 12 by 1K now in the afternoon, and averaged 252 here. So up in altitude with 1 minute recovery. So I've been improving it quite a lot these last few years.
Yeah, but I guess it takes time, and you got to be smart with it. But it is cool because if you do it correctly, and I guess you do like get those paces down, then by the time, because you do 400s probably once a week or once every 2 weeks at the minimum, your 400s are probably essentially your 10K race pace or close to it, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it's quite a good indicator if we're at the 10K. So 25 by 400s with 30 seconds rest is a very good indicator. I actually, before the 10, when I ran 26:52, I think 3 out of my 4 last workouts were 25 by 400.
Oh wow! So you're getting real specific.
Yeah, so it's a good specific workout to get a lot of mileage, but with low intensity and low pressure in your body.
So cool.
Do you ever take bicarb on double threshold days or just specific days?
Just specific days. The bicarb throws off your lactate quite a bit. So you can basically run at the same intensity, but you will measure a lot higher with bicarb. So I think it's just easier to stay at what you're used to, so you don't overdo or underdo it. And I feel that the bicarb benefits you the most when you do more high lactic stuff. So I don't really use it on threshold days.
Interesting. Well, before we get into a bit more of the Instagram Q&A that we do have, just do want to look ahead with you. So going into Tokyo Worlds, after this couple of other races that we talked about before, you obviously entered in the 5K and the 10K, and I heard on a different podcast you say that you think your best chances are in the 10K, which I think, obviously you're in a very good spot for both of them. How are you approaching those different challenges that you're going to encounter when you get to Tokyo?
So first of all, now I think I need a few weeks, as I said earlier, to do a small base training period, to make sure I get the aerobic base in place again. But then I think I need to just try to be as strong as possible, and when we get closer to it, start to practice a little bit more, so I get quite a good kick. And that's the thing that I feel is most beneficial for me for the 10K, because if you've seen the 5K races in the global championships the last year, they are quite insane, the last K.
Well, there's been a specific somebody at the front of all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really know if I have it in me to do a sub 120 the last 600. But for the 10K, I feel like I am a lot stronger than my PRs shows. The 10K I did on the road, the European record. I actually, the last 5K of that race, I broke the European record for the 5K on the road. At that yet, so it was not an optimal race for me. So I think that I should run quite a lot below 26:50 in the right race. And I think that if I have my 5K capabilities as well, I think I could be quite strong in a kick for the 10K. So that's my main thoughts going into it. But obviously, I think that as good as I am right now in the 5K, I can be quite competitive there as well.
Definitely would have to agree with you. And one thing that I was just thinking about, like looking at the races you've done this year, one thing that's kind of unique, and I guess once you start running 12:44 these times, it's inevitable, but you've done a lot of leading and you've gotten really good at running fast because you've done it in some of the other road races as well that I've seen. Is that something that you've always had in you, or do you think that's a consequence of the training that now you're so good at leading a race and pacing yourself, I guess?
I don't really know. I always considered myself as being quite a bad front runner. So it's a bit surprising for me, to me. But in Stockholm, it was just that I felt that I wanted to try my best in front of my home crowd. In any other race, I don't think I would have maybe taken that decision as I did to just go with the wave lights. But I wanted to do the best as I could in Stockholm. And I think also that having the wave lights helps you a lot to be a front runner. It's a lot easier to lead now, I think. But I also think that I want to be a good front runner because I want to have like all the tools in my box, so that I can control a race in different kind of settings. So not just be a front runner, not just be a sit and kick guy. So I want to try to be good at all kinds of races.
Makes sense.
Does. That was pretty special watching that in Stockholm.
Yeah.
As I was.
It's like if you watch the video, I can actually see you standing there at the 300-meter line, just
Really?
with 300 meters left. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a good spot actually, and I was like just hanging out in it's kind of like the athlete like area where you kind of come into the track, and the OAC assistant coach, the OAC Europe assistant coach, was standing next to me with a stopwatch, and every time you would come by, he would just lap it and hold it up and be like 60.8, and then it'd be like 59.8. For like 5 laps in a row, it was like 60 points, 59. So it was unbelievable, and the crowd was just going absolutely crazy for you and Mondo somehow breaking the world record during. It was just a Swedish fest out there. But I know you were at sea level for a decent amount of time before that race, like 4 to 6 weeks. And I already know because we talked about it. But was there anything in particular you did in those few weeks, being at sea level instead of coming down from, obviously for Monaco you came straight from Semirats?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. So yeah, I did a little bit of heat training to just see if I could maintain some of the benefits I got from Sierra Nevada, and also to just test a few things before Tokyo, because there's a risk that it might be quite hot there as well.
How was that experience?
So, it's not very nice. You don't really enjoy it. But it seems to have worked quite well for me. So I mostly just did low intensity stuff, and I think like in the coming weeks we will start planning more on how we will prepare for Tokyo. But heat training seemed to be working quite well for me.
Do you have a specific, more like scientific protocol for it, or were you more just like vibing it out?
Vibing it out is nice. No, just obviously the more scientific approach. But I did it for low intensity stuff, and had a core sensor to measure the my core temperature and try to stay at a specific zone. I just did it. For me, it was enough with three times per week. I mean, I'm absolutely not an expert. I usually just did what some other guys told me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think Andreas is a likely candidate for just making it up on the spot like we are.
Yeah.
He seems less likely.
Everything's quite well thought out.
Do you have like do you record every run like with a lot of detail?
You have a beautiful Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. Is that a real thing? I feel like I've heard about that.
I've seen it.
I mean, I don't record everything like an easy run. I don't write out my pace and heart rate for those kind of things, but I basically have all my interval times and heart rate from those when I use a heart rate strap, and lactate measurements from like basically every lactate test I've ever done. So I have it in an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah.
That's a gold mine right there.
That is pretty smooth.
You're going to be able to publish that, your own manifesto once
when you retire, you could sell that for like unlimited money.
The day after the 10K in Los Angeles.
It's going to be epic. Good.
How to race a 10K.
Yeah. Well,
Style.
should like copyright that right now.
Well, that's what
By the public.
what Niels Van, that's what he's just called. How to skate a 10K.
That's sweet.
And then in brackets, like, and a 5K. Or maybe it's the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
I can't wait for that.
I'm excited for your addition of it. I think now's maybe a good time to get into some of these Instagram Q&As that we have. The first one comes from Mr. Price of a Mile, Woody Kincaid. He's asking who your absolute favorite American is.
Ooh. I mean, Woody is high up on that list.
Yeah, he's a pretty good one, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, you obviously also met me in Paris when I took the decision to not run. And Woody came up to me and he was very considerate, sympathetic to me at that time. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, he's a very, very good guy. We do love Woody over here. Another good question we have is how much do you spend on lactate strips per year?
I actually get them. So I don't have to pay for them. So that's a reason why I use so many.
Smart. One thing I did want to ask related to that is for people who maybe don't want to invest in a lactate meter, do you think that this, like, how good now, because you're someone who has such deep knowledge of both, do you think heart rate can be used, or do you think it's difficult because of how variable it can be?
I think you can use it for most of the times, but sometimes it can be a bit off.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like I don't aim for one specific BPM. It's like more of a range. So for me, it's basically like when I do my first lactate test, I can use it as used to calibrate it to see like, okay, so this is my heart rate for this day.
Yeah.
And then I can have like an interval that I'm usually around these numbers, and if it deviates too much from that, it's usually a sign that something is off.
That makes sense. Our next question is, where do you get your meatballs from? Do you only shop at IKEA?
That's a weird one. It's when I eat meatballs, but there is a few very good spots in Stockholm that I eat in. But I don't know if he's the guy who sent it, but I have a friend who makes quite good meatballs as well. So I don't know if it's him who asked it.
I love that. Local. More specific to training question is, what does your cross training look like?
It has actually changes a bit depending on what I feel like. And I usually only do cross training when I'm injured. So when I'm in full training, I only run. But I feel that you want cardiovascular stimulus basically. So you should do the kind of training that you feel are most fun to do, or less boring. So if I'm excited to go out for very long cycling rides, I do that. Or in 2023, when I was injured in the fall, I contacted a cycling coach that I know, who's a coach in Lidl Trek, and I asked him to can you give me a program so I can climb Alp the Swift as fast as possible.
I remember seeing this on you put this on your Strava, didn't you?
Yeah.
I remember seeing this.
So then I had like close contact with him for 6 weeks, and he just gave me a cycling program that he would give to his cyclists.
How good did you get? Was he trying to recruit you to the team?
I mean, for the short amount of time, I think I became quite good. So I did Alp the Swift in 38 minutes and averaged 352 watts, I think, in that time.
That's pretty crazy.
352 sounds pretty good.
So I mean, I think it was basically like 5.4 watts per kilo for almost 40 minutes. So it's good, like for not being an elite cyclist. I think it was quite good.
He did extremely good. It's very impressive. But yeah, I guess it does make sense. It's like you don't really need to overcomplicate the cross training. It's like it's about just getting the aerobic work.
No matter what kind of cross training you do, you're gonna feel like shit when you start to run again. But if you've done it well, you're gonna get back into fitness or running fitness quite fast. So if you do it on an elliptical or a cycle on a bike or whatever, it's just you just do it to get back faster. But you're gonna feel like shit when you start to run again.
Yeah, really it's unavoidable. We've talked so much about training today, and obviously to do what we do as well, but to do what you do with the amount that you're putting in, you do have to live kind of like that monk-like lifestyle. What do the hours in between all these Ks that you're putting in look like? Like, what else are you into?
I mean, up until this beginning of this fall, I both studied and worked part-time. So it's just like the last year now that I've been a fully professional runner. Like when I told Henrik Ingebrigtsen that, he said like, "Yo, so you're finally getting serious." But now when I'm at camp, I'm just trying to do like brain dead activities. Today I just like watched random YouTube videos for 2 or 3 hours.
Same as me.
But it was only because it was a rest day in the Tour de France. Otherwise, I'm following that now.
Yeah, the rest days are the worst.
Dude, it's crazy how it's. I mean, we haven't talked about the Tour de France yet on the pod, but it's crazy how it's such a good event where you're glued to the screen for 8 or 9 days in a row, and then you've when the day that it's not on, you're so depressed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. It's going to be a really fun week now. A few very exciting stages coming up.
Amazing. Well, that's about it for our Instagram Q&A. Do you have any other questions, George?
I feel like we covered a good amount.
Yeah.
You have any questions for us, Andreas?
Yeah. How's it going with your guys with your injury recoveries?
It's a great question. Andreas is out here setting records. Unfortunately for us, we're recovering from injuries. Everyone's fighting their own battles. Me personally, I still got a bit of a long road back because I'm just dealing with some lingering glute med tendonitis, which is just ended up being way more pesky than I would have liked. And we've gotten to the point where it's like the timelines are such that there's no rush for anything. It's like we're just looking to the future now. So I mean, I have great support team and stuff getting looked after well, but it's just going to be time at this point. I'm in the place where I can't really rush anything, and I'm just enjoying slowly getting back into it and trying to stay fit. So that's where I'm at. George? Kind of the opposite in some ways.
The opposite in some ways is that I'm trying to have as short a road back as possible, in that I'm going to see how fit I can get in exactly 2 months of running, basically. But I'm also on the bike fitness program. It helps having the tour on, because I either watch the tour when I'm cross-training in the morning, and then I have a bike workout this afternoon. And my last bike workout, I just put on like Tadej Pogacar, best of Tadej moments, and
tried to ride alongside him.
And it went by so good. And I'm trying to. It's really motivating cycling during that period, and I feel like I'm getting bike fit. Like I'm getting my heart rate way higher than I was at the start. When you start biking, it's impossible to get your heart rate up, and all runners will know this if they've biked, because your legs just give out. It's just your quads hurt too much that you're in like zone 1 heart rate, but your legs are like dying.
Zone 5.
It doesn't make any sense. But now, after like, I don't know, it's been a few weeks, I'm actually like my quads are recovering enough that I can actually ride a bit harder and get my heart rate up a bit higher, which is fun. But I'm doing it all inside, which is the safe, smart option, but it's also really boring.
Yeah. I mean, doing long bike rides indoors, it's basically impossible for me.
Yeah.
But going out for ride a bike, that's actually quite nice. And also a fun thing, like when you're not used to cycling and you do lactate tests, it's quite nice, quite interesting to see how slow you have to cycle to have low lactate.
I have been wondering that. I don't have a lactate meter in the gym.
You should try that.
But maybe I wonder if anyone will have one this afternoon.
I mean,
I was wondering.
I could cycle with a heart rate that would be my normal easy run, and I could have like 6 in lactate.
It's so weird.
What?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm really interested.
I guess that just shows that like your muscles are just not developed for that specific activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically that my cycle coach said there in 23, like you have a very good VO2 max, but basically your cycle threshold sucks.
So with in that specific context, would you then just say kind of screw it and just you're not caring about lactate because you are just trying to get that aerobic component? So you're just going to be like, compared to running, your lactate will just be so high in cycling and that's just fine because you're using it for cross training?
Yeah. If I do lactate tests when I'm cross training, it's just for fun. I don't really use it as a guidance.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's nice that like if you're doing intervals or reps on a cycle, it's just looking forward to it. Like I have 5 reps until I can do a test. Just something to
just trying to make a gain out of it.
Exactly.
In like training, if you're an actually cyclist training, like obviously you don't need to control the like threshold intensity, for example, because you're gonna have a stress fracture. Can you just do threshold for like 5 hours straight? Like, can you just ride at threshold all day?
They don't. I know they still follow like essentially the 80-20 principle in cycling.
But 5 hours, they're still doing. That's 5 out of 30 to 40 hours, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess. But I'm sorry I mentioned this because you definitely would know more considering you worked with a cycling coach. But whenever I've looked at pro cyclist workouts, I'm amazed at how short they are. That's like,
really?
Yeah.
I guess different for different people. I mean, for the guy I work with, they usually had like a 4-day principle. So they had like 2 days of intervals, a third day of a long ride, and then the 4th day was an easy day. But on those days when they had workouts, they did it in like a 5-hour cycling ride or a 4-hour cycling ride.
But and how much of 5 hours is intervals? A small amount.
Quite a small amount. So let's say maybe 40 minutes in total or something. But I think they also could do it like they did a few reps in the beginning of the ride and then a few reps at the end of the interval. The end of the ride, because in cycle they have those power curves. I guess you know about them, and they want them to change as little as possible after a long cycling ride, so you can still produce a lot of power at the end of a 6-hour race. So they could do a lot of cycling before they actually started doing their efforts to make sure that they are good at producing the power in the end of the race.
That does make sense. It does. Yeah, but I mean, if you follow Niels van der Poel's training, then he did a freaking crazy amount of threshold work. It's actually mind-boggling how much threshold work he was doing across 5 days in a row. So everyone's different.
Yeah, like seeing those like 5 by 20 minutes threshold, it's quite insane.
Yeah, it's wild to see. Well, Andreas, thank you so much for joining us today. It's just been so fun to get to talk to you after all this time. And it's really cool for us to be able to speak to someone who's, on top of the world and absolutely crushing it right now. And we're a big fan of yours. So just thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of yours. So hopefully you can do this in person in the future.
Oh, we would
love that.
Well, hopefully we'll see you in person again soon. But if not, best of luck for all the upcoming races and Tokyo.
Thank you. And
thanks,
best of luck
dude.
when you recovered.
Thank you.
See you.
See ya. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for what was an extremely fun episode for George and I.
Yeah, an episode that was kindly brought to you by our friends at Core Heat Sensors. There's a link in our bio if you want to grab one. We've been wearing them. Andreas is wearing one. And if you buy one and you send us some proof, we'll send you a Coffee Club beanie to help with some heat training, and it looks cool. Get you ready for winter.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Also, we didn't get to mention it much in this one, but yeah, London, Ollie is racing, as well as, I guess just from our team, Robert?
Robert is racing.
Yeah, in the 15.
Both in the 15.
So Ollie's going to defend his title. We'll definitely be talking about it a lot next week and all the other stuff that we missed. But as you guys just heard, it was a very jam-packed episode with some exciting guests. So we'll get onto that next week. But yeah, cheer for Ollie. We'll be supporting him out there. But yeah, thank you guys so much again for listening. This has been episode 195 of the Coffee Club podcast. See you guys next time. And Ollie's athlete, Donovan Ratio. First coach and athlete combo ever raced at a Diamond League. Check it out. This weekend, I think. Yeah. See you guys.